reunion served several purposes. One was to show our gratitude for everyone who has helped to make Boyd Music Center a successful operation and the sort of community center that it is. One of the reasons was to provide a venue and an opportunity for all of the people who have, as I say, put a brick in the building, been a part of it for all these years, to come and see each other again, to visit, to talk about old times, to talk about their band activities and some of the great gigs they played together.
Kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all those people to be together again.
And it is a family. We all, as I've often said, my staff, my employees, if you will, my associates, are my family, and my customers and my friends are my extended family. And so this was the purpose of the event, to show my gratitude, to provide the opportunity, and also to make a permanent record so that other people, so that the ones who were interviewed and participated would have a record of it and of all the activities that went on. And it was a very busy day. I think we had over 1,000 people. And also the ones who were unable to come, either didn't know about it or forgot about it or had to work that day. Many of them had to work that day. Exactly. And several have come in since then. I'd say probably as many as were interviewed have come in and said, I couldn't come, I'm sorry I wasn't there, tell me about it. And I'd say, I'll be glad to tell you about it, but we will have a video for you to see. That's another reason for this video being made.
Well, speaking of the video, what are some of the things that people will see on this video? You mentioned that in 65 and 66 there were two events, Drummerama and Bands on the Roof. You mentioned those, and tell us a little about what you
Yes, the building that we are now located in was completed in 1964. We moved in the summer. We had already been in business for about 2.5 years in another location. And at that time, we decided to have a grand opening celebration, which we had in 65, the first one. And we had bands on the roof, and this is something people still talk about because the overhang on the front of our building is structurally sound, and we can actually put people up on the roof for bands to play. And so we have some footage of that, which was made with 8mm film. An interesting story about that is that event and the Drummerama event, which took place in early 66, or in the spring of 66, I believe, was filmed on 8mm. And big crowd on the parking lot. We had both events outside, as we would have this 35th anniversary had we not had bad weather. But the 8mm film was a part of a reel that, when I moved into my present home in 1970, was misplaced. And I thought it was lost because I had had a projector stolen about that time. And I assumed that film was in the box with the projector. In searching 26 years later, 96, I was searching in my home. I was cleaning up an area that had been there for a long time. And there were some boxes of Celotex. And in the bottom here was some sealed metal cans of 8mm film. So it was actually, exactly. So we were able to take it and have it converted to video. Just in time.
And Drummerama was similar?
Yes, Drummerama was also, as you see the tape, you'll see the event go from the first Bands on the Roof with our old sign, which I know that was 65 because the new sign was built in the fall of 66, the one with the big white letters. Then we have Drummerama. And interestingly, as the camera pans, you'll see in the background the University Tower building on University Avenue, the skeleton of the University Tower building under construction in 66.
Architecture.
Right.
Would you consider your anniversary celebration success? Why?
I was delighted with the participation. It was beyond my wildest imagination that everyone came and made the day as successful as it was. There were 8 bands performed, all volunteers. We made audio tape of all of that activity. We had a big crowd all day long. Everyone seemed to really have a wonderful time. And it was similar. That day was a kind of a microcosm of what has happened over these 35 years, in as much as everyone came and participated and made Boyd Music Center what it is.
These special guests shared their memories of Boyd music and of Bob Boyd.
He's the most thankful person and the most appreciative person, and he don't laugh and smile and buddy up to people because he wants to sell them something. That's just the way he is. He's going to be that way when he knows you can't buy nothing and won't buy nothing. He's just very genuine, and he's very honest, most honest person. And you know, when you know this worked out to where he married a wife the same way.
I don't know if you knew this or not, Carl, but he can tell you what a note is just by hearing it. Like you can take a piano or guitar or anyone playing, he can tell you an E from an F or a B flat, and he can even tell you if Ricky Tripp sings in what do you call it? In what? In key? Yeah, in key. That's what I think about. No, Ricky Tripp is visiting here. In fact, we've seen a bunch of our old friends here, Matt Carter and A.C. Lynch. Some old.
Mostly Bob. I can go here recent. I really like to talk about recent. Bob, some years ago, well, I think about 10 or 15 years ago, I remember seeing on the news Bob. They had this guy on TV who was running up and down I-630 out here. And it turned out it was Bob, and I didn't know he would become athletic like that, and I was really inspired by him because I think back years ago, you know, he was a little bit heavier. And don't get on to me for saying that, Bob, but as compared to now, he looks like a toothpick, and I was always in admiration of that from that day on. Autographs or more on it. Dad had these people he met. These I think they're local and national stars autographed this. They'd scratched their names in on it, and on the back, he's got. I don't know if you can zoom down right here. He's got Liberace's.
Hey, my name is Walter Archie, and I've been doing business with Bob Boyd since 1964. I brought my first guitar here. I think it was a used Gibson. And from then on, I think since then, I've purchased at least 6 more guitars. And I just purchased a new Takamine here about a month and a half ago, which was made my 7th guitar that I bought from Mr. Boyd. Now
it's funny, only the faces have changed, but Bob and his attitude and his way of making you feel that you're important is still the same. yeah, I would say. But other than that, there's no different. There's younger kids on the set, you know, and the music. I don't think it's varied ever that much.
A good crowd of people at the store, a lot of playing going on, and I was in awe. Still am somewhat.
Well, I first met Bob, it was about 1974. And by the way, my name's Taylor Pinkerton. And I was playing in a local nightclub right over on Roosevelt. And so this was in about 74, and I bought a bass amplifier from it. It was an old Fender Bassman.
Billy Bob's been a real good friend of mine since 1968. I moved here from Dallas, and one of the only few guitar stores around back then that had everything you needed. And not only the equipment you needed, but the friendship you needed and the guidance you needed to learn to play guitar. I know a lot of people in here, and I've always come back to Bob.
Oh, here we go.
Oh gosh, we got Bob. Good. 2, 1, 2, 3.
Honey, let me be your salted all. Let me be your salted all, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salted all. now watch. Honey, let me be your solid dog. Let me be your solid dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your solid dog. I pull the trigger and the gun let go. The shotgun over in Mexico. Honey, let me be your solid dog. Let me be your solid dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your solid dog.
Bob Boyd, that's right.
Bob Boyd. Hey, we want to congratulate Bob for his continuing efforts here at
Boyd Music.
Boyd Music. He's been a great person for preserving the old.
3 big decades. 3 big decades.
3 decades.
Plus 5.
And I want to keep doing it until I get it right.
There's right.
Thank you, Bob. Did you have any other? You're welcome. You want any other comments that you wanted to add?
Well, when I think of Bob Boyd, I think of a fine guy.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily a musician. I just think of a real honest person. He's always fair with people and very dependable. Real high character.
He's always been for the musician and always encouraged us all the times while we're here. When we're getting down and discouraged, he's been here to kind of boost us up.
Yeah.
Bob, we appreciate that.
Wonderful.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What anniversary?
Yeah.
We've got 2 rolling VS880s linked together, so we have 16 digital tracks and DAT machines and everything to go with it.
Get that all here?
Oh, all of it, yeah. So we have no money left. We're down here begging for
Hopefully we're getting paid for
screens.
this interview. Put it on our account.
Yeah, put it on. Credit you for something. For some tapes for the machine, maybe.
That's right.
Tell you what, it's a pretty exciting situation for Bob Boyd. He has been here a long time. He's supported a lot of musicians. He's helped me out in times of dire straits and needs. I do appreciate him very much. He's been a very good friend of ours.
So what did
You can let me a trade secrets here. Not that you hadn't let me a lot before, but this stay young look, I could use a bit of that.
That's what's always impressed me about him through the years. Is he's not interested in how much you spend, but he is interested in you. And if you're happy, if you're satisfied with what you've got, do you need help, or can I help you? And that makes a lot.
All right, well, my name's Ty Corbett, and I met Bob Boyd back, I guess, by 1967. And I used to come in here and look at the drums, and I always wanted a new set, a double bass drum set. And I had an old set of Apollo I got when I was about 15. And so finally, Bob Boyd, with a down payment, I got to finance my own set of drums, and I was a teenager. I was still in high school. And I bought me a set of drums. And I started playing. I paid him that monthly payment. And I kept breaking sticks a lot. And Bob told me, he said, well, when you learn how to play, you'll quit breaking sticks. And I looked at him like, what are you talking about? And I know now he was right. He learned how to play. It's not that you can't play, but you'll learn how to hit the drums better and you won't be breaking sticks. And I remembered that, and thank you, Bob. Saved me a lot of money. But no, he's a great guy. All of them are, Donnie, all of them.
What do you attribute the success, 35 years of continuing growth? I mean, it seems to keep expanding. Why do you think he's able to do that here?
Because he's a good man. He's a fair, he'll give anybody a chance. If they do right, they're all right with him. I don't know anybody like Bob Boyd. And I'm not just saying this because I'm doing this.
Hey, all right, here we go.
What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being at Boyd's.
As long as there has been music in Little Rock, there has been Bob Boyd, or so it seems. He's celebrating 35 years in business today. Now, that explains the Happy Boyd Day t-shirts, but it doesn't begin to explain the devotion his customers have for the tall guy on the keyboards.
Gosh, A lot of people think Bob Boyd's God, and when they die, they're going to Little Rock.
You look at him, you don't really know how old he is, and I don't really know either. But he was, it looked this old back then too. But he's never aged. But he's always been kind of like a father figure for us.
And obviously, the feeling is mutual.
It's been such a lot of fun for me. My customers are my extended family, and I love to be with them every day.
You know the difference between a banjo and an onion? When you chop up a banjo, nobody cries.
Clearly, he's not just a store owner. He introduced many of these former kids to play, and today many of his musical children have drifted back home to pick and play and tell stories about the man they call Mr. Boyd.
That's right. It's been that way all our lives. We have learned to respect a man who did not ask for respect. He earned it.
And Mr. Boyd let us play everything in the store until we found what we wanted.
And yes, he still does, even if you're just getting started. A lot has changed since the early 60s, but Mr. Boyd still strikes a chord in all his customers. Steve Powell along Route 7.
Bob he's one of my best, closest friends. And we've both grown a lot together through the years. And I've learned as much from Bob, whether it's life or music, what have you, as I have from any other human being.
I want to thank everyone that participated that day. The list would be endless. Ray Bell has been he joined my efforts in 1963 at a time that I really couldn't afford to hire anyone because the whole operation began as a shoestring, as a teaching studio for my guitar and accordion students. Ray came in to take my guitar students and has stayed on all these 35 years. He is not only, he is my best friend, and I certainly want to thank him and everyone else who was there and who volunteered as official greeter, and all the people that were interviewed, and for just being there and for helping make the day far beyond my wildest imagination a success. I've always had a sense throughout these 35 years that God has had a hand in wanting Boyd Music Center to be what it is, and to this day, and for the future. My prayer is that God show me what His will is for me and give me the courage to do it on a daily basis. And when you came around and we got this idea and this plan to do this series of interviews, it just everything seemed to fall in place, as did everything that day. Even though the weather did not permit us to be outside, we still, everyone moved indoors. Exactly, it made it a little more, yeah, I guess so. There was a great sense of camaraderie and fellowship as a result of the day, and I wish I could thank each one who was there and everyone who made themselves available for the interview. The person who has been by my side throughout these years as the founder and owner-manager of Boyd Music Center is the co-owner, my wife Donnie. She and I were married for a year and a half before I decided to open the business in 1962. Exactly, and she has been always supportive of my efforts and kept the books during the early years, and is the realist of the family, which was indispensable because I tend to be the optimist and the idealist, and my dreams tend to run away with me at times. Whereas she would say, "Do you think that'll work?" And she was always around to help me get my feet back on the ground at times when I needed to do that very thing. And so my wife Donnie has been a very important part, and of course was on hand all day during the family reunion to register people and give out T-shirts and do whatever she could to make it work.
Wow, did you see that? Hey, look, Mabel!
Look, Ma, no brains.
Honey, let me be your salted dog. Let me be your salted dog. I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salted dog.